I like to kind of take back the power of those words and call it being more tame. There's being more wild and being more tame. Hey everyone, my name is Brianna Jolie. I am an intuition guide here on YouTube, as well a channeler and teacher of all things tarot, AKASHIC records, nature, and elements. Today I wanted to talk to you about sort of the direction I'm going with a lot of my teaching. I've been really finding my niche, my home, like the essence of where I want my own business and teachings here on YouTube to move forward with. And a lot of this I encompass around the main topic or title of wild wisdom. Wild wisdom is something I've been practicing for a long time, but have yet to put a name on it to describe it to others in this in-depth way. So I'm really excited for you to be here as I kind of explain more of what I do and how it can also help you. So I guess the first question is, Brianna, what is wild wisdom? So wild wisdom is a collection of many things. It includes your past life memories, it includes all the lessons that you've learned, and the knowledge of the universe, nature, and the earth that you live on, and how that knowledge lives within you as well. It's not something that you need to go out and read in a book and find. It's all things that we instinctually know and experience and have been following. And I think this is so powerful because our wild wisdom is our birthright. So there are two ways we connect to our wild wisdom. First way is through our instincts. It's what we have been already doing without necessarily realizing. It's all of a body charge or an instinctual moment that you take action on without really reflecting on why you might have done it, but it just felt good. There are messages that go through our center line and express through our body. It's that involuntary response that you have towards certain people, places, or things that literally just like call you. So for example, I follow my instincts by leading myself to places that I truly enjoy. I am someone who thrives in the mountains. By feeling that response that my body has when I'm in the mountains, I then can begin to work with my intuition more to really fully understand the message that my body is responding to. So as we lead with our instincts, we begin to tap into our intuition, which is the messages that we channel and experience through our light body. If you are familiar with masculine and feminine energy work in the spiritual realm, I would say that our instincts are more based on our masculine energy and our intuition is based more on our feminine energy. Both are leading us down a divine path and both are allowing us to fully understand, feel, and experience our mission. Some other examples of how we experience our intuition is that we feel them through our senses, our clear senses, the knowing, feeling, taste, smell, seeing, hearing what those messages might be for us, listening to those messages, and then seeing where our guides come in to lead us there as well. So the reason why I help people reconnect to their wild wisdom, well, there's many reasons. There's been a lot of societal conditioning, there's been a lot of programming, and instead of the word unprogramming or unlearning, I like to kind of take back the power of those words and call it being more tame. There's being more wild and being more tame. When we are more tame, we are disconnected from our wild wisdom and we're moving away from our instincts and our intuition and going down the path that someone else is leading for us. This is another thing I really like to harness in my teachings is the fact that we are all our own leaders. Even if you feel like you follow a lot of what other people do, say, and it gives you comfort, that's beautiful. They're kind of a catalyst to bring you back to those memories or your wild wisdom. They're giving you little pieces of that. But if you want to fully come into your wild and to learn your wild wisdom, that is a journey that only you know how to forge. So some examples, if you feel like you're in a more tame state, Your ego is leading you by fear. A lot of your emotions are being suppressed. You act out of fear, or you act from a place of fear, jealousy, or regret, and you allow ego to lead you, not your divine higher self. Now, what does being in our wild look and feel like? Understanding your wild wisdom and being in your wild, it means that you are being led by your instinct and intuition. It means that you freely express emotion. And it also means that you do not disregard ego, but you don't listen to ego either. You more so learn from ego. We can always learn something from lessons, from ego, from fears. We can all take those as tools in our tool belt to help us lead us down the path. Okay, I've experienced this before, now how can I come at it in another way? That's leading with your wild, rather than this experience hurt me and I'm going to allow it to continue to have its power over me. That's again suppressing the leader. You'll find yourself being more confident and taking more leadership over your life as you move more into your wild. You might be feeling, okay, I understand. How do I lead more with my wild? Well, this is actually where I love to teach. A lot of my favorite practices to connect me to my wild are things that we have been practicing for hundreds of years, but have been told that they are wrong, or other religions have told us that they are not safe, or they're not as sacred as they have been or practiced. There's been a thick veil that have been put upon these practices because they keep us out of our power. As you can probably understand and imagine, there are a lot of people and corporations and things that want to keep us tame. So what are some of the ways that we can go into our wild? These are my 5 core practices that help me come into my wild. You can take what resonates, you can leave what doesn't, or you can encompass all of them, which is what I do. The first ancient wild wisdom that I encompass in my practice is tarot. I use tarot because it's one of our most rooted ancient practices, because it's rooted in symbols and communication. Way back when, to maybe your very first lives here on Earth, you used to communicate with forms of symbols and art. So one of my favorite ways to connect with my guides is through tarot. If you want more practices on tarot, feel free to contact me or look at some of my other videos. The second way I like to tap into my wild wisdom is through other channeling practices, one being my favorite, the AKASHIC records. The AKASHIC records are a very unique frequency to all of your soul's history. It's the ultimate guide to the path that you're trying to go on, because you can understand your past life fears, you can look at your past lives in general, you can look at your soul's mission, your purpose, where to lead next. The Akashic records are so beautiful because only advice and direction given by your higher self, your guides, nothing else is outside of you that is showing you where to go. It's solely led by you. Again, if you want some more information on the Akashic records, feel free to let me know and I can provide more resources for you. The third way I like to tap into my wild wisdom is by embodying different elements. I work with and feel the elements because they're free, because they're attainable to almost everybody, and they are very rooted in the ground of our ancestry and our ancient wild wisdom that we already have been practicing for a very long time, but again have been told that that isn't something that works for us, but in fact it does. So the elements I like to work with are water, earth, air, and fire, and I use some of them at other times. I leave others for other occasions. I work with them in rituals. They're one of the best, most natural way for us to kind of feel the frequency of our spirits and earth working together in synchronicity. Another favorite way to connect with your wild wisdom, and this has to do with the wild part, is because it means connecting with animals. Across our many lives, we have understood and worked with animals to help us, we also can learn so much about tapping into our leadership and tapping into our instincts and our intuition from animals. Animals are some of our greatest teachers. So what I really like to do is I like to watch, listen, and learn from them to see how I can apply their lessons to my own life. We are still taking leadership over our messages, but using animals as a teacher without their own kind of thoughts or opinions to put onto us too is really natural and beautiful. One of the last ways I love to connect with my wild wisdom is one that I feel like gets overlooked a lot when honing in on a spiritual practice. We have to understand that we live a human experience, but we also live a multi-dimensional experience as well that is still connected to our higher self. There is a distinct balance between these worlds. We sometimes live more in one, we sometimes live more in the other, and sometimes they're balanced. But there's never a time where one is completely out of view. Well, not in our immediate view, but it's still can be felt, sensed, and heard if we choose to tap into that sort of frequency or energy. So I find shadow work to be one of the most important ways to tap into our wild wisdom, because as we work through a lot of the energies that help us tap into that higher frequency, it's also very important to understand more of our lower vibrational energy so that we can balance. If we're missing one piece of the puzzle, having all those tools is great, but it doesn't have a steady foundation to be built upon. And your wild wisdom is all built on a steady foundation. If you want more tips and tools to help you and be supportive in your shadow work, please let me know. Again, these are all things that I am an expert at and I've been practicing for a really long time. So if you need someone to trust along this journey, please let me know. And I think that's all I wanted to share with you today on Wild Wisdom for now. I plan on going deeper into these topics more and more on this, a little bit on this channel, and also with one-on-one support in my private sessions. If you're curious to work more with me and go into some of these wild wisdoms that you can tap into, my website is briannajolie.com, or you can schedule a 15-minute cosmic call with me so you can kind of feel out where you are on your spiritual journey. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. I'll see you guys all next Thursday with a brand new video. If you liked what you saw today and you want to help support my business and this community, please like and subscribe. I'd love to have you part of my wolf pack.